Hey everyone, and welcome to the Infinite Respawn podcast. I'm Chicken.
I'm Oak Tree.
I'm Griff.
Nah, I'm Baka.
What's up, guys?
What's up?
The last show of the year, 2020.
We look all festive and shit. What's up with that?
It feels like we've done like 2,000 shows this year.
Well, we even took a huge break this year.
I know.
Because baby and remodel and all that stuff, but it still feels like the longest 3 years ever.
We're off for 5 months. This feels like the 7th year of it.
It does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's hard to believe it was all like 1 year. So, since this is the last show of the year, we get to wear our funny hats. So if you're watching this on YouTube, enjoy our funny hats. Only one of us
I do
has
apologize for all of their little hats fading in and out and whatnot, but mine's real.
Look, man, I needed a
mine will
hat
not
that came
fade.
with glasses because I lost mine.
I could go get one of my real hats, but
You should have, but
My
it's
guy
too
has
late
like
now.
30
You can't
hats,
move.
so I mean, and they're not. It's not like 30 baseball caps because he collects them or something like that. No, he has like 30 random assorted hats. Like he has an RPG backpack full of random stuff. It's
Do they have
crazy.
stats?
Probably.
You should write the stats
Got a list
on
of
the
all
hats.
the stats.
yeah,
That would
not
not
a
surprise
single
me.
one of them is a baseball cap.
Yeah, they're not. I don't think. I can't even imagine you wearing a baseball hat. I don't think it would fit with your hair either.
The only baseball cap I have ever owned was one that had Wolverine on it, and that was when I was little.
Oh, I was gonna be like, you were 8, weren't you? That's my guess. Single digit 8.
He was little.
Well,
Eight or 9.
we're gonna discuss what we played this week, which will be a lot related to the news for some of us, and then last show of the year is always like one of those who knows what's gonna happen grab bags. So
Yay, nothing like crap bags.
I know that 3 of us will talk about the same thing, so I'll start with with the other 3 of us first. We played the Back for Blood. What is this?
Alpha.
Closed
Alpha.
alpha.
Thanks. I was like, trial preview. This is not the right words. I haven't had enough coffee yet. But yeah, we tried that out. It's a.
And
I'll let Griff go first.
Okay, I'm gonna preface this with a little bit of something. I am at the point in my gaming career where it's becoming harder and harder for me to see things in a game and go, wow. And I was kind of hoping for a wow, but I didn't get one. Like, it's not that it's bad. It was just that there was nothing that was so, like, crazy good that I was like, oh, wow. And I think the only thing that there could have been like that is if they had not showed us the giant ogre thing that comes up out of the ground. If they had not shown that in a preview and let us discover that organically, that would have been such a wow moment. But it's like, oh, okay, we've seen this scene before. There's the thing where it comes out at. Okay.
I can see that.
I feel like
but
like the media stuff has gotten too much into let's show all the cool things, but you're showing us all the cool things, and so when we get to them in game, they're not cool. We've seen
No, that's
it.
kind
Do you
of
think
like
the part
movie
of the-
trailers that have been, where it's like we're going to show you all the good parts to get you to see the movie, and
Yeah.
the rest of it's shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I was gonna say. Do you think as many people would have been excited about the game had they not shown the ogre?
Yeah, because you had
'Cause
all
I feel
the
like
other
people
cool
would have
stuff.
just gone.
I think it would have been super interesting to find that organically, especially because it's kind of a scripted event. So being able to, like, your first time in there, I knew exactly where it was, and I knew exactly what was going to happen when we started walking up on it. I was like, okay, it's right here. Now, if I wouldn't have known that, and I would have just started running up there, and that motherfucker broke through the ground, I probably would have shit myself.
I mean, I think that's the difference is, based on who's making it and what they've made in the past and what we've seen of it up until that point, there's got to be a big bad because there was no tank, essentially, from Left 4 Dead to transition to this where we had so many of the other ones. So you knew there was something in there, but you didn't know what it was, and then they showed it to you, and it's like, oh, okay. I mean, that's cool.
I'll be honest, I don't think that's going to be the tank guy.
You don't think so?
I think that is a scripted boss where he will pop out in certain specific parts. It's like an event. He's going to be an event style boss where he pops up in certain parts. But the big tank guy is going to be something that can be spawned wherever. Like a siren or the tall boy or anything like that. Where he is an event style horde, event style boss. something
Maybe.
different to add in.
It
'cause-
probably worked better if like the ogre was like only on like that specific level through the scripted events, and
Yeah.
then when you
He
get to
has-
another stage, it's something completely different.
Yeah, that would be neat too if they added different styles of big bads, because he has specific scripts that he follows too. Because I saw him do this before, but I let Red learn it the hard way. He downed us all outside of the room, and Red went into the subway area, and he peeked out to see if the ogre was gone, and the ogre reached in through the doorway, grabbed him, pulled him out, and crushed him.
Just like in the cinematic.
And Red was just... Yeah, Red was losing his shit, going like, "Oh my god, he grabbed me! He grabbed me!" And I was like, "Yeah, that's why you don't stand near the door. He'll go ahead."
Yeah,
and grab
that's
you."
why I was like way away from the door in there.
Yeah.
We did have
Oh,
a
it
few
was
bugs
glorious.
though. Like, I mean, this is what this is for. But there was one point where you
Absolutely.
have to go down a ladder, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna not make the same mistake I made with Cyberpunk and actually use the prompt for the ladder. And so, like, I think Chicken and Baka had already jumped down maybe or something, but I got on the ladder.
I
and
know.
it,
I
like,
went down the ladder.
It put me on the ladder and let me take like one step down, and then immediately threw me to the ground and killed me. And I was like, what just happened? And they're like, oh, haha, you jumped off. And I was like, no, I didn't. I was on the ladder. And Red's like, what? Let me get down there. And it did it to him too. And those two were convinced that we had just fallen off the top. And then finally, Baka's like, no, I jumped from the top and it didn't do that much damage to me. So Chicken gets on the ladder to recreate it, and it killed him too.
Well, first of all, I jumped off the ladder to see it, and you don't take damage. So what I did, and you can recreate the bug, which they're not going to listen to this, but you can recreate the bug. I did exactly what Red told me to. You basically look down at the ladder, you press the prompt to get on the ladder, your character turns around, gets on the ladder, and then if you hold S while you're getting on the ladder, you basically launch yourself rocket style to the bottom and kill yourself immediately.
It's
So
So
just-
it is
you basically
like-
sliding down the ladder causes death. Basically.
I guess
Because
so.
it seems like the momentum that you build as your character is getting on the ladder is completely released once you get control of your character again. So it just launches yourself with all the momentum you've built. Because I was like, all right, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to hold S because I'm getting ready to go down the ladder. It was an animation. And as soon as the animation is over, you launch and die. I was like, oh, okay, that was easy to recreate. Gotcha. Okay,
Yeah.
and then I died instantly.
Yeah.
I couldn't get back up top to recreate it.
Baka
for some
has a
reason.
whole
Every time
other problem though.
I tried to go up the ladder, it just kept knocking me right back down on top of it.
Yeah, it wouldn't let him go back up for some reason. So, Baka's problem though is that he has like blinders on to these bird flocks, and the bird flocks are how you alert the horde. Like literally, we're standing in this broken window area, and we're gonna have to jump down. And the birds are right there to the left as you're looking out the window. Like, you can see them. You can hear them. They're crows, so they're making their caw-caw noise. And then Baka's like, doot-doot-doot, straight into the birds. And he's like, I didn't see them. And it wasn't just that once. Like, literally, it was not a one-time thing. It was, like, at least one time every act of the level that we played. And it's like,
I don't remember
No,
in
no,
the footage that
you
they
set
showed.
off birds.
I
In the
did one
footage that
set
they
off birds,
showed, they didn't. They mentioned the birds because the birds were on top of a car. I remember that, and they were saying something about the birds, but they never. I don't think they ever made the birds do anything. They were just there.
Yeah, that was a nice surprise because we didn't know. We heard the birds, and I thought it was just ambience noise. So the first time we walked out and jumped down, and the fucking birds took off, and I was like, "Oh, they alert hordes, gotcha!"
yeah,
and
that prompt
they
showed
just
up a little
swarmed us
late on the
immediately.
first time we did it. It's like,
Yeah,
they
it
flew away,
did.
and then it's like, oh, it's caution, birds can alert the horde, and you're like, that would have been helpful like 30 seconds ago. Thanks.
Yes, absolutely. But the basics of the game feel like they're there. The gunplay feels a whole lot better than Second Extinction. The guns feel very responsive. It feels a little bit like Left 4 Dead in the style of guns and whatnot. You can aim down sights, which you can't do in Left 4 Dead. But I know Griff isn't too big of a fan of the shotguns in this one, but
No.
I find the one shotgun really fun because it's got a tight spread. It feels good when you shoot it.
It's also a distance
They played with the
shotgun
melee
for
weapons a
some
lot.
reason.
So what?
It's a distance weapon, the shotgun. If you aim down sights with the shotgun that you like, the tactical one, it's you can like snipe people with it. It's like,
Is it shooting
You do-
slugs?
Yeah, you're shooting slugs. It's a pellet based. It's a tighter spread, and you got to understand, Griff, there are different styles of shotguns. The tighter
I
spread
know.
shotguns have a much longer distance than the full spread shotguns.
I just thought it was funny that I could actually snipe somebody's leg off from a distance with that thing.
Hey, shotguns are dangerous. You hit enough of those pellets, and someone's leg will fall off. The pacing of the level is good too. There are 4 levels in the whole zone, and there is no NDA. I can talk as freely as I want. People were streaming it and everything. The characters are nice. They do come with a specific traits on each of the characters, and they said there's going to be 8 characters total when they release the game, which is nice to have some variation in there.
4.
We saw 4, and they announced one more on their Twitter. Her name is Mom.
So she's the witch.
She's a little bit older of a rugged woman. The card system was a little weird to start with, but once we kind of got our hands into it and started seeing what it did and made our own decks, I like it. It's okay. It kind of fits it because you can you choose one card that is your loadout card. That one you get at the beginning regardless, on top of your character traits. Some you could pick your weapon, you could pick a specific trait or whatever.
There's not a card for a shotgun that I saw, which I was unhappy about that, but it meant that I started the rounds with a baseball bat and nothing else. And if you didn't come across
start with a shotgun.
No, I did not. There are cards.
You just have to put it in your thing.
Yeah, you can have cards for like an AK or whatnot, but what I'm saying is what I wanted to run was like a melee shotgun so that I could be in the front and be, out of everybody else's way, essentially. Because if I'm in the back, somebody's getting shot in the back.
Well, on top of that right there, Red found a card, which on higher because the first difficulty you don't take friendly fire. Second one, you take a lot of friendly fire. Third one, you best just stay the fuck out of the way of your friends or you're just going to die. But Red found us a card that said down in front, and as long as you are crouched, you take 0 friendly fire damage. So on higher difficulties, the 3 of us are going to get that, and we're just going to hover around Griff as she melees everything because she can't hurt us, and she can't friendly fire, so we'll just let her go butt wild and kill everything.
I think that's when she needs to have the sniper rifle, since you won't allow her to have it otherwise.
No. She gets a shotgun or a melee weapon, and all of us are just like crouched around her, just kind of killing everything and moving as a unit as she kills everything.
Okay, here's one of the problems that I found with that, is that I was running that melee character, and I didn't have a gun, because I didn't start with one and we hadn't found one yet. And I mean, we went like 2.5 of the levels without finding a weapon that wasn't a secondary.
No, that is a complete lie, because we passed a shitload of weapons that we didn't detour for.
Oh, I didn't even know.
I
didn't
saw
see them.
a bunch of them.
And I had asked. I was like, has anybody seen a gun? But I guess nobody was listening.
Like there were seven.
But I was going, like, I was like, I didn't have anything but a melee weapon, and I did have the card that if you melee something, you get a couple of points of health back. And so I'm like, low health, and I'm trying to get to melee something, and Baka and Red have assault rifles, and so I'm walking up to something to melee it, and it just dies in front of me. And then the next one dies in front of me. And then the next one, and I'm like, can I just hit something? I literally cannot do anything.
Hey, once you said that, though, we all backed off and just let a bunch of single ones come at you one at a time.
And then it was, hey, Griff, get over here. We found a room with a heal thing in it. So then I didn't even...
Yeah, to be fair, you did, because that doesn't heal you very much. I remember that room. It healed you like 50...
It's because I had such 45%. A larger health pool to start with. So
yeah, I do like that you can expand your health pools. You can kind of change the like after every level, you get to pick a new card out of your deck because it gives you 3 options, and you get to pick that card and add it to your character traits. And then if you fail, you get to pick another card and add it to your character traits. So as you progress or as you fail, you get to pick cards from your deck to make yourself stronger. And yeah, you only have a limited amount of attempts at each at the whole thing.
I don't like it. Because it's like if
limited temp.
If your team goes down twice, then it's over, and it means that if you are on Act 4 out of 4, and your team goes down twice, it doesn't reset you to Act 4. It's like game over. You reset all the way back to the beginning and have to go through all of the acts to get back to where you were.
Okay, that's shitty. That needs to change.
I don't.
The good thing
care
is they're
for
in
that.
alpha, right?
Yeah.
Or make that an option to have on or off.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what me and Griff
Yeah,
were talking
I agree with
about.
that,
Turn
too.
it into hardcore style or softcore style. Like give people an option to be able to play through the whole levels continuously, or if you play on the hardcore difficulties, you only have so many attempted lives.
Or you could theoretically you'd be able to customize it any way that you wanted to. You could literally put it up as where you have a permadeath as well. So
Yeah.
it's one of your characters, one of your people dies, they're dead.
Well,
And
that
now you're running
that
with
was
three.
actually, we did do that on one of the difficulties. It wasn't
The-
you go
the
down and then
second
people could get you
difficulty.
up. It was you went down and you're dead.
Oh wow.
Yes. Which is why it's important, because I like the items in this one a lot better than the Left 4 Dead, because the defibs work as a res and a pickup item. Like if someone is down, you just run over, slam them with the defib if they're incapped and they get up, or if they're dead, you slam them with it and they get up. And you can carry one of those and a bunch of med kits and some grenades.
A bunch of med kits. It was two med kit. It was one med kit, and if you got the fanny pack, you could have two med kits.
Well, as my character, I got to carry up to 3, maybe
that's
4,
nice.
depending on the perks I got. That's why I was carrying as many as I could to make sure that I could heal everybody.
You
I was
know,
playing
I didn't
support.
know that your character did that. I kept wondering why you were asking if anybody could hold any more. It's like, you can see that we all have one. We only have one slot. Why is he asking this?
Because I can carry a shitload. That's why I was trying to, like, all right, if you can hold 2, I can get another 3, and we can have 5 total. Or I could
well.
carry a shitload of bandages or pills
I
or
think that
first
that
aid
was just your
kits.
character then. Unless somebody had the fanny pack card running. 'Cause-
No, I took mine out so I can carry more explosives.
Yeah, see, so I like the kind of variations that you can build inside of the game. It's got a lot of potential, and the game runs pretty smooth. It's just they've got to fine tune the gameplay in it, and hopefully they listen to the feedback. And also, you can definitely tell they're going to put microtransactions in this thing.
Mm-hmm.
If they do it wrong, the game's dead. I guarantee it. I'm telling you now, the game will die pretty quickly.
You can see where that would be appealing is because there's copper that you pick up, which is the currency, and it's because at every safe room you have to spend copper to buy items out of the kit. So like if you want a med kit, you don't find med kits. I mean, like I guess
you
there
can find
were
med
one or
kits.
two places, that we've run into maybe something like a med kit or a defib. But at the start of the level, if you want to start with a med kit or pills or explosives or whatever, you have to pay for them with your copper. And then you find copper through the level, so when you get to the next safe room, you can buy some more. And then the heal things have 4 free charges, and then after that, you have to buy the charges of heal if you wanted to heal at one of them. And so I'm
So
wondering
it's
if they're gonna-
basically killing floor.
kinda, yeah.
Between
Yes,
each level,
it feels
you
a
have
lot
you have
like
buying
Killing
system.
Floor. Yeah, it's like Left 4 Dead and Killing Floor, which is what I've said, because the gunplay feels like Killing
Hey,
Floor.
it's been so long since I've played Killing Floor that I can't remember a buy phase between the level. Like, I can't remember anything between. I
Yeah,
know it's
basically, 'cause
probably
after
there,
you-
I just can't remember it.
After you finish the rounds, it tells you go ahead and buy your stuff now, and then it gives you the arrows to go find the vendor.
We have
Oh,
like
yeah,
10
yeah,
seconds
okay,
to buy
okay.
it, basically.
See,
Yeah.
okay,
Like
I got you. It's just been a minute.
It feels like someone took Left 4 Dead and Killing Floor and mashed them together, and this is what you got, which I enjoyed. The
I
headshots
like both
in
games,
Killing
so I
Floor,
could see it being a thing.
yeah, the headshots in Killing Floor feel just like they do in this game, because
Well,
it
now
feels
if
like
they're- it's a possibility that their store could be similar to Killing Floors. And
Which
if
I
the
would
store's
be
similar to
fine
Killing
with.
Floor, it'd be successful.
Yes, exactly. It is so critical on how they handle the microtransactions, because I know they're going to do it, and
Well,
that's
how
fine.
they handle the microtransactions and how big the campaign is at launch.
Yes. And one of the
They
things I
can't
put on
use like
feedback...
a loot box system though, like for the cards,
They could.
because a
you
lot,
could-
lot of countries are not going to allow that.
That's true.
You could do a loot box system. You finish the whole level, you get a box, you get to open it up, you get some more cards. That's fine. That's the only way to get boxes of cards and whatnot. That seems fair enough.
They'll
I mean, it's kind of
probably
like
let you
Overwatch's
purchase
anyway.
card packs, where it's like you'll get 3 cards of this variety. Because then it's not as much
Only if
gambling
you
if they
could
tell
buy
you
them-
what variety it is. Because they break it down into 4 different categories for the cards.
Yeah, you just got to be careful because that's selling power. And if there's no multiplayer in it, then that's fine. If there's multiplayer in it, then that's a no.
There is multiplayer.
All,
Remember,
well,
they're
we
going to
haven't
have the
seen it, but
PvP
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, well, we'll see if they want to sell power like that, because that's going to hurt them long term if they do it like
I'll
that.
disagree with that.
Uh,
No, selling
Yeah,
power is
I
always
mean, Battlefront 2. Oh, hey, Boba Fett can get a card where he's invincible when he's flying.
And then he
and one
never
of the
not
other
flies.
things over the years that has killed games is separating your community. Like, do not sell maps. If you sell maps, you're breaking your community in half, which only certain people can play on these maps and certain people can play on these maps. You need to make it so that it's across the board. Sell characters, sell skins, sell whatever else cosmetically that you need to. Hell, you could sell skins for your special infected if you really want to, or people can do mods, which will help extend the life of the game.
Mm-hmm.
But
It's Warner Brothers, so they're probably going to sell them and not so much mod.
if they
because
sell
we
maps,
need a Mickey Mouse ogre.
which I'm fine with. They have potential, and it's pretty much on them to make this game succeed or fail at this point. If they do it wrong, then it's gonna hurt, and it's gonna make me feel bad, because this game does feel like a lot of fun.
A lot of it's gonna depend on Warner Brothers interference with it, though.
What are you looking for?
My phone, it just went off. The one time I forgot to put my phone on silent.
I just want to point out I have the skin of Santa Claus, and I'm drinking Coke.
Pocket is the commercial right now. Outside of Back 4 Blood, we played some Phasmophobia with my sister again, which I still haven't died. It's not going well, but she's having some PC trouble, so have to see what we can do about that. And Baka, what did you play? Because I know the other three of us are going to talk about Cyberpunk some, and that will help us with the news stuff. So, look, if I put my cup right here, it looks like my
I'm
cup
guessing
is on
Red
fire.
Dead.
Since Cyber, well, I know I've done a little bit of Red Dead, but not very much. Like every time I log on to do something, I get pulled away. So I like the DJ needs to go out or something like that. So like I haven't played it a
Chicken
whole lot.
bugs him.
And then I got the new edition of Blood Bowl, so I've been reading the book and assembling all the little people.
Mike is one of the few people that reads instructions on things when he gets it. The rest of us are like, well, we'll figure it out.
No, well,
Let's play.
they've changed they've changed some of the rules in it. Like it looks like they've changed a bit on the dwarf team, where they were ridiculous to knock down. It seems like they might have made them a little bit easier, because it used to be like every single one of the little bastards got block. The linemen, everything. Now only certain ones get block.
Huh.
So yeah,
Well, I guess
it
it
makes
is
them a bit
important to read
easier.
the instructions.
Mm-hmm. They've also streamlined it a bit more to try to make it a bit easier for newer people to get into it.
Oh, well, that's nice. I mean, as long as it's not making it super casual and you hardcore players who've been playing for years can still enjoy it, that's cool. It's nice to make it more accessible sometimes.
I will know more once I can actually sit and play.
Okay, well, that means nobody bug Baka for a couple of hours after the show today. We can let him have some time.
I've still got to put all of the guys together. So.
Oh, okay.
They did come with star players too this time, which was nice.
Oh.
And big guys. So I've got an extra troll and an ogre, and then I've got a human star player. Which the funny thing is, it's for a human team and an orc team, because that's always the two teams that come with the board games.
Mm-hmm.
But I've already got the Forge World versions of both those star players, and I've already painted them. But these ones look a bit different. Like one of them is it's Griff. The guy is called like Griff something or another.
I remember when we played.
I don't really particularly care with how this version of him looks, so I'm just gonna keep with the old one. Like I still put the new one together.
Put them together just in case.
I'll use them for the. Yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't know. It's its helmet. It just looks really goofy to me.
Poor helmet guy.
It's basically like a big like griffin with like big wings coming up out of the helmet and everything,
okay,
and
that
I'm
makes
just
more
like,
sense now.
that just looks a bit weird. And he also has a bird with like all these gold medals and stuff that it's holding on to for him.
Aw,
It's like,
that's
wow,
kinda cute,
but what a
though.
prick.
It's kind of cute though.
And then the orc guy, I actually like how he looks a bit more than the Forge World version. He actually looks different enough where he's more recognizable, whereas the Forge World one looks like the standard orcs. So he kind of blends in, and I have to always double check which one is the star character.
Gotcha. Well, do we want to talk about the other game that we've been playing?
Sure.
What game is that?
I mean, I kind of do, but I kind of don't. I'm kind of afraid to talk about it because I'm afraid some like people are just gonna show up and yell at me.
It's definitely going to be a mixed bag, for the record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll let
This is
Oak
gonna be
start
all
because
over the
we've been talking a bunch. Oak, you tell us about what we've all been playing.
Of course, the three of us have been playing Cyberpunk, which I'm absolutely enjoying the hell out of. I have. There are some glitches and stuff that I've ran into. I've ran into more crashing, I think, than Chicken and Griff have.
Yeah.
With their games. But overall, though, I'm really, really enjoying the game. The plot line, where it's leading to. V, which is your main character that you're playing as. I don't know how everybody else plays this game. I know how Griff plays because she's similar to me when it comes to these type of things, which is whatever the background story is that we chose, we look at our character that way, and that's the decisions that we make are based on that. So we kind of role play that character a little bit,
Yeah. It's an
and what our
RPG.
character would do. So of course mine started in the corporate world, and so it's just having that information, that knowledge or whatever, and just trying to make your way through the world. What would my character do in this particular case? So it's just kind of nice to play through. I've ran into my favorite glitch so far, and I don't know why it does this, is in certain parts of the city, if I'm driving the vehicle, and it doesn't matter what the vehicle is, all of a sudden from nowhere, my guy looks like he's on a cross, his arms are straight out, and he's standing straight up, and he has no pants on. He still has a shirt on, just no pants.
I've seen that before.
So all you see is his ass, just right there as you're driving around the city, and it'll just pop up. You'll just see mooned, and it'll just pop up. It's great when he's on the motorcycle. It's great when he's on the motorcycle because he's standing on the seat, so it looks like he's doing a trick with no pants on.
You have a Daredevil nudie pants, nudie McNo pants. There you go.
That's right.
Oh my god,
so,
I've not had that happen.
I am through the main plot line. I think I'm at 80% ish through it. I'm trying to do some of the smaller things around the outside, a little bit more of the side missions. I want to say that my street cred is at like a 50.
Oh, nice.
And then my main character's 29, almost to 30, because there's some guns that'll unlock at 30. So I know I'm not 30 yet, but it's pretty close. So I'm getting really close to it, and then, but after playing it for a week and a half and just trying to enjoy the city and take the time, where other people within 3 days had already finished the game through the campaign, I'm like,
why
there's
bother?
so much to this. There's so much to this. Why in the world?
Yeah, and those are the
you
people
do
that
it.
are gonna play it once and then never go back to it too. It's like, why did you even bother? I guess because they're streamers or YouTubers and they're playing the trendy game and they don't really care about it. But man, there's so much in that game. Like,
yeah, I like that the game refreshes too. Like, if you complete a bunch of like the little side events that happen, they refresh. You're never running out. Like, I cleared one area, and I like went and rested and went somewhere else, and I came back and they were all back again. And I was like, okay, so there's never really anything completing everything because shit's gonna keep coming back.
Not
so
with certain things. I think you can complete things like
some of the like
same?
critical missions, like some of the actual side missions and whatnot. Yeah, those ones once you're done with them and go. But the generic ones where it's go here, beat up bad people, you're pretty much done.
I guess because there's always bad
so
people.
daily quest.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
not even daily quests. I guess you could have it reset in the same session. It's just there's
I mean,
criminal
oh
elements.
yeah,
in the
it was
city.
in the same session.
What?
It was in the same
Yeah,
session.
that's what-
like
that's
it
what
was
I'm saying.
inside the game.
It-
But I mean, it's a
but
bad
you're
city.
resting for
Yeah,
a day.
It's a bad city.
It's a
Just because
bad
you cleared
city.
the criminals out, that's free real estate for the next set that want it. you
Yeah,
know?
it's not like they're gonna be done forever.
I did stop and do one. There was a place where there's been this traffic jam forever, and it's because they've had these bad guys had blocked the streets and are just standing there threatening people. I'm like, y'all aren't even like stealing these cars or anything. What is
Were
going
the cars
on?
on fire? Were the cars
No,
on
the
fire
cars weren't
blocking
on
the middle of the
fire.
road?
No,
Okay,
they weren't
I came
on fire.
across a different one down a random alley, and I walked up, and they swore at me, so I punched a dude in the face.
Well, I kept going by there and like because you can run around because I never drive, I just walk everywhere. So I just run around them to get past the traffic jam and everything. But finally, I was like, these people are just a menace to the city, and I'm kind of tired of it. So I took them all out and killed them, and then got in their cars that they had parked in the middle of the streets and moved them, and traffic could flow again. I was like, yes. Please don't let this be something that they're going to continue to do, because I'm going to kill them every time I see them now. This is irritating. Like, y'all aren't even doing anything particularly bad. You're just being assholes. Stop it.
I do not kill anybody in my playthrough unless I have to.
I didn't.
Most of the time, I'll just knock people out.
I've given my V a real personal character arc that is not necessarily happening in the story as well, because he's gone from I really don't want to kill anybody to I have to kill some people because there's just not another option for things like that, to I don't enjoy killing, but sometimes it's just what you gotta do. Like, that's
Mine's mentality is I did this for so long for the corporate world, took care of what I needed to, and these people are bad.
Yeah.
And I've got to eliminate the world of bad people. And I know I was one of those people, so it's just kind of, that's the thought process that I have for my dude. I am enjoying a lot of the dialogue they've created.
Yeah.
I think they did a really good job on the dialogue. Some of the choices that I've made, I regretted the decision I made on what I said, because something bad happened later on because of that, and I'm like, oh, no.
I hate that sometimes you can't tell how it's. This falls into that like stereotypical RPG where it's like, here's a blurb of what you're gonna say, but it's not. It doesn't say exactly what you're gonna say, and then when you say it, you're like, you pick the option where you're like, this sounds like it'll be non-committal, and you're like, I'm a dick, and here's what I think about it. And you're like, oh damn it, that's not what I wanted. That's not how I wanted that to come out at all.
I do like the fact, though. I do like the fact that basically they color code their where some of the games, like we'll use Mass Effect for instance, they color code whether it's a good or bad a decision that you're trying to make. But in this one, they color code on whether it's going to get you out of the conversation or not, or progress the conversation.
What's optional and what's required.
Side options versus main options.
I try to go through almost all of the side options unless one of them is very much just being a dick.
But the good thing is it opens up the conversation. Mm-hmm. If you hit the optional one, sometimes it'll give you 4, 5 more questions to ask or part of the conversation, because it's like, I think they did a really good job of it. And like you were saying, with typical RPG, you're not really sure where this lies on whether it's being a dickbag move or a nice move or whatever. I think they did a better job of including part of what you're going to say in the actual option, so you have a better clue. Where Mass Effect, there were some times that I was like, that's not even what I intended to say. Like,
yeah.
Like what?
Yeah, I mean, there's no way to know exactly how it's gonna sound, which is a little concerning when you're trying to be somebody nice like me. But I'm glad that it's not color coded to the point where it's like, here's your good option, here's your bad option, here's your indifferent option. Like,
yeah, I don't want handheld.
Yeah, I would like to know better what I'm gonna say, but I don't want it to tell me this is going to offend the person you're talking to, because there is, from what I understand, there is like relationship building with people, like the people that you're working with and whatnot, and how they interact with you. And so, but there's no meter for it, which is kind of nice because you don't have a meter in real life to tell you how close you are with so and so and everything. So it's kind of neat. But that's why I wish I could better see what the options were gonna sound like before I say them, because sometimes they do look really innocuous. Like, nice place you have here. Now,
but then you F5 before every conversation.
I should.
And I promise you that I do that. Like, whenever I'm trying to have a conversation, it's like, all right, F5 before I walk into this room, because if it goes terrible, and yes, it is called saves coming, I'll definitely do it, because I do not want to pick, because they do not convey what it sounds like very well before you pick it, and I really don't want to walk out of that room with a really negative relationship with the character I'm interested in.
Well, it wasn't.
So I just like, all right, F5.
It was a rando, but it was like one of the optional pieces of conversation was like, nice place you have here, is what the chat said. And V's like, nice dump you live in. I was like, no, that's not what it said. That's not what that said. No. Like,
nice dump you have here. That's my toilet, of course.
I was so sad. I mean, at least it was somebody that was like an optional mission thing that I'm pretty sure I'll probably never see again. But I still didn't want to say that. That's not what it said at all. And now I'm worried. One of the things that's in the news is about save file corruption on PC. There's basically a certain size file. Once you get over it, I think it's, where is that article? It's 8
megabytes.
Yeah. And one way that they're telling you to prevent the save file corruption, which corrupts your save file forever and you can never get it back, is to not have a full inventory. And I am really worried because I saved and quit last night while I was over encumbered, because I was like, I'm tired and I need to go feed the nugget. I'm just gonna save and I'll clean out his bags tomorrow. And then today I see this and I'm like, no, what did I just do?
I didn't even know it was a thing until we got the news on it, and I was like, the amount of times I've saved him, because I save all the time, so I could go to a previous save. But it's one of those where it's like, still, like, if you're going back into the game for the first time, and let's say it was half an hour between, say there's half an hour worth of material I got to go back through and try to make sure I do the same thing over again. Yeah, that's just, it's crazy.
Yeah.
8 megabytes.
There is a way to find out how you do it, and we'll put it in the Discord, and I guess we can put it on the thing or whatever. You could find it. You can find it pretty easy. But it shows on this article, it shows that there are or you can find it in each of your systems to make sure that it stays below 8 megabytes. Because if you go over, you're fucked.
There's
you gotta
a
go back.
chance that it's gonna corrupt out. So now I gotta go look at that, because.
So are we going to the critical side of the game now?
Yeah, I mean that's fine.
Just mix it in. Yeah.
Okay.
Talk about some of the bad and the good and all of that nonsense.
Yeah, like, don't get me wrong, I'm enjoying the shit out of this game. It's a lot of fun. I just like walking around Night City.
As a preference, the three of us are playing it on PC, which is arguably having the best success. I mean, the bugs and whatnot are pretty minimal. It's what you'd expect with a launch title of a new IP.
Of this caliber too, like the size of this game.
It's not been as kind on consoles, especially last gen consoles. Last gen, current gen. I don't know.
Well, if we got one thing out of this year, it's PC Master Race. Just
I mean,
just saying.
Well, to be fair, there's some things that I think a lot of gamers have forgotten. Okay. Mm-hmm. And we bitched about this 4 or 5 years ago about the fact that games were being made for consoles and then being ported over to PCs.
And now it's the other way around.
And now it's the other way around, which is the way it originally was. But the thing is this game was originally supposed to be designed for the PS4 and the Xbox One, but they were making it on the PC. And instead of going the route GTA 5 did, to where they were concentrating on one and then saying, all right, you got almost 2 years, and we'll give you the one for the PC, so we have a nice polished version of the game that you want, they decided to release it all at one time.
Yeah.
And
you say they decided, but it's come out that it was the board of directors that said December is when it's coming out. We gave you an extra month.
The board of directors runs the company. That's them.
Yes.
Yeah,
but it's not the different story.
Stuff.
But
they're part of the company, and I mean, if they're so out of touch with their developers,
it's
Yep. So I think that, but the people got to remember that. You also have to remember, was it Arkham Knight that was actually they got taken off of Steam because it was so bad?
Was it? Yeah,
Yep, it was that one. Oh yes, I remember that one clearly. It came out fucking shattered, and they removed it entirely and gave everybody their money back.
There are games.
I still have Salt about that game.
You what?
There you go.
I still have Salt about that game, but I played it on PS4.
Oh, well, there you go.
Right. And saying I think that there is, people have to remember we're now going the opposite direction. That's actually where we are right now. But the frustrating thing to me is that it should at least run well on a PS5 and an Xbox Series X or Series S, either one.
Does.
But it's still potatoey. It's not as bad as PS4 and Xbox One by any means, but it is still potatoey.
Yeah, I showed Griff a video of what it looks like on the Xbox One and the PS4, and oh my god.
Yeah, I was like, how bad is it? Because
God.
I was reading an article about people being upset about it, and the refund thing had just happened, which we'll talk about that. But I was like, what does it look like? I need to see this. And he's like, YouTube, here you go. And we watched a review for the PS4 version, and I was like, wow. What happened? Because it's like looking at two different games, for that versus what I'm playing. And it's like, holy jeez.
I told Griff the other day, one of the things I was trying to get, of course I have a PS5, I was trying to get an Xbox Series X. This was the game I wanted to buy on the Series X. This wanted to be one of the games that I bought for the Series X, play it for the first time, enjoy it, show off all the bells and whistles from the Series X and see what it was. I am so glad I couldn't get a Series X and I had to buy this on PC. But because it was part of the reason I was like, okay, is my system going to be able to run it at the high enough frame rate and all this stuff with all the bells and whistles versus a console that's got all that built in? Well, the answer to that is no, because it's not an optimized game. It's just not.
I think they spread themselves too thin trying to get it pushed out at the time that they were trying to get it out, and they had promised too much. Because remember, they promised that parity for the older consoles and the newer consoles. Like, your old consoles will definitely get the upgrade package to look like the new console stuff, and they said all of that, and it's like, that's nice. That seems like it's going to be a little difficult to get a high-end game like that to run almost equally on a lower-end console. And it seems like every time that they made progress with, like, maybe they made progress on the PS5, then it would backtrack stuff that they were doing on the PS4 version. It kind of spaghetti coded it a little bit. So I'm wondering if part of the problem is the ones for the Xbox One and the PS4, part of their problem is they're trying to run code that should be running on the new consoles, and the old consoles are like, we have this information and we're trying to plug it in fast enough, but it's just not getting there. So here's your potato car. Here's your guys that are floating. Oh no, we can't do this anymore, crash. I mean, I wonder if it was just they were spreading themselves too thin, trying to get it on all of the consoles at the same time.
Yeah, and having COVID hit this year where everybody has to work from home too just makes it so much worse.
As soon as COVID hit, they should have said, look, guys, we're going to have to delay a release date period until we know exactly where we are with this.
Should have been like, we got to wait till next year. I know everybody's super pissed about having to wait, but this was completely unforeseen. Nobody is blaming anybody for, this shit. Well, okay. This shit's getting out of control and all of that, but I mean, you just got to adapt, and everybody is dealing with it.
And it was probably that the devs did say that. They were probably like, we need more time to work on this because now we're all trying to do it from our homes and it's not going as smoothly or as quickly, and the board of directors is like, you get till December. We already gave you a pushed back release date in November. You can have one more month and then it comes out because we need that $4.
But I think the board of directors also had bigger pressure, which leads into one of the other stories we have, which I think you have investors that were invested the money and they wanted a quick turnaround for their buck.
And that's part of the
problem.
problem.
If you told them that they're going to have to wait another year,
they're not going to do
it. They weren't
going
to get that turnaround.
And I think
because you got to understand, folks, that these investors have been hitting this game for the last 8 years. Have been like, all right, we're still going in. Okay, 5 years passed. Okay, are you guys getting there? Another year passes. Another year passes. Another year passes. They're like, okay, guys, it's been 8 years you've been working on this one project. You got to do something.
But I think it's because you've got people, the investors that are investing are people that don't understand. Because a lot of the investors, the two that are mentioned in this article specifically, this Eurogamer article that we'll put on our Discord, are lawyers. They know literally nothing about the games market or how games are developed. So it's like you went in with unrealistic expectations because you saw that CD Projekt Red's stock price, like your stocks were worth a lot. So they invested into the company in the stock market, and now they're like, "Where's my money? Art shouldn't take time. Give us cash." Like, that's not how it works.
That's a good segue to, this is why people like that should not invest in games where Microsoft investing in studios are perfectly fine. They're like, "Yo, we know exactly how it is. We know it takes time. Keep us up to date on your progress, and you do what you need to."
Microsoft understands coding and software, and issues come up when you get to a certain point that you have to backtrack and unwind everything to figure out what went wrong, and then redo a bunch of other stuff. And one little number switch somewhere can completely mess everything up. Because they're a software company. They understand that.
Well, and I think
same thing with THQ Nordic.
That's pretty evident in Microsoft kind of understanding things, because we didn't see more Halo Infinite at the Game Awards after it caught super flack over the summer for that trailer with the weird Covenant guys.
That's a problem in gaming overall, is when your investors start dictating what your developers are doing. Like you can't, if your investors want to get in and be like, "Hey, what's taking so long?" You got to, if you're going to invest, you have to trust. Like that's pretty much how it's going to work in the gaming industry.
At least give them updates of going, "Hey, we hit a snag. We have to go back and fix this."
But I imagine the investor people, based on who they are, in some cases, are like, "You're just milking this for money that we're giving you because we have invested." And it's like, do you literally think that anybody on the dev team for Cyberpunk was like, "I'm just going to sit around and make a paycheck because I don't actually care about working on my game"? Like, that nobody said that.
Those people are fucking passionate about this, especially this project.
And I hate.
Also, one of the things to keep in mind too, like we've talked to our friend that's in the business itself, that's an artist, a digital artist, and one of the things he talked about with ray tracing was the fact that the artist's world has changed because the way they do the textures now is different because of ray tracing, because of the refraction of light and everything else that goes along with that. So they've changed how that works. Now this game's 8 years old in the making.
It's been developed for 8 years.
Somewhere along the line, they switched textures.
Yeah,
they had to.
Yes, they did.
So everything that they had already made, they had to go back and redo because things changed.
Yeah, see, that's a problem with developing a game so long term, is because 8 years in the tech world is like centuries in growth of it. I mean, what they were making in 2012 is nowhere near what they are making now.
Well, and that's why I think they should have focused on what they originally had, and then turned around, and after they finished the product they'd started, they started creating a ray tracing version of the game, like whatever add-ons they do, because everybody's doing that now. I mean, look at Minecraft. Minecraft's got ray tracing in it now. Like, it's a freaking block game,
Yeah.
It looks gorgeous if you got the right textures and everything else with the ray tracing, but it's like, it is something that you could move along and do what you need to get the game released, and then help that generate the money to do what you need to finish, make it polished and look better, that type of thing. Because and think about this too, they took the multiplayer out of this game.
Yeah,
I'm pretty glad
I can't wait for the multiplayer. First of all, like that has a lot of potential to have a bunch of people. Like it's a first-person GTA style game, and it's going to be a lot of fun when they're done with the base game, and then they can begin working on it about in 2025. And then we'll get it, which is fine. Take your time, please.
They're obviously still working on it. We've had like 3 or 4 hotfixes this week. Like yesterday, I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and load it up, and it's like, no, there's an update. You gotta download. I was like,
when did this game come out? The 10th, right?
Yes. 10 days ago.
We are on version 1.05, which means they have released 5 patches in 10 days. Every 2 days, on average, is when they're releasing patches to fix the game. Now, personally, I feel absolutely horrible for them because it's right before Christmas, and they are busting ass every single day. I hope that they at least get 3 or 4 days off so that they can kind of wind down and relax, and hopefully this is taken care of, and then, you know, start off on the new year, everybody hits the books again and starts going, and then we'll see Cyberpunk throughout 2021 just evolve into this game that everybody was waiting for. Give it time.
The issue with that though great. Is it's kind of like No Man's Sky, where the launch of it was just such a disaster for it. Mm-hmm. While it may get better later, and you will get the fans who really enjoy it and like it, and some new people here and there. The hype for it now it's gone.
I mean, I don't disagree with that. I will say if you're playing it on PC, you're probably enjoying it already. And that I don't think it necessarily hurt the PC side of it, but yes, for console players, your goodwill is pretty destroyed. They
have an ace up their sleeve though, is when they do release their multiplayer, it's going to fall back into the mainstream where they're like, hey, look at, we're releasing the multiplayer. You can come back. The game is fixed. It's incredible, and that will boost sales again.
It still won't be that same initial hype.
It won't be the same enthusiasm, but it will be a different kind of curiosity though. The curiosity.
You know, I will say that. Maybe it won't be the same enthusiasm, but fucking gamers have a short ass term memory, and yeah, they'll remember this one, but the next time this happens, they'll do it again.
Well,
next big hype game, they're gonna be like, "Oh my god, look at it!" It comes out shitty, and they're like, "Oh my god, it's shitty."
Hopefully, by the time that they come out with the multiplayer, it'll be listed again on the PlayStation Store, because it did get pulled from there. And Microsoft's doing refunds, but I don't think they pulled it. It has a warning now on the Microsoft Store.
Yeah, they put a warning on there. Best Buy was doing refunds for physical sales.
Yeah, a lot of places are doing refunds. Although Chicken did send me a thing. It was somebody that got their copy refunded through Microsoft. It was a digital purchase, and they removed it from their library. And they're like, "How dare you scam me? You gave me my refund, and then you took it out of my library, and I still wanted to play." It's like, that's not what refunds work like. What were you expecting?
Morons.
What an idiot. If you refund a product, it means you're giving it back.
But I want to lose weight, so I went ahead and got the money for it, you know, because I'm too fat for them. But, you know, I'm going to keep them because, no, it's like that, no.
So please understand that if you do refund your copy, if it's digital or
whatever,
even if it's, you know, physical, you have to take your copy back to the store. They're going to take it away from you. You will no longer have it. That's why they give you your money back. I don't understand why you think that you get your cake and eat it too at the same time. You're refunding it because theoretically it doesn't work.
Because they're spoiled and entitled.
It's crazy to me.
They feel lied to and cheated, so they want their money and they want the game so that they can keep playing it.
Otherwise, it would be. Well, here's the thing: is you could literally, if you wanted to keep the game, and people would able to do this, Sony could literally go, look, if you want to keep the game, we're not going to refund the game for you, but what we will do is give you like a $10 rebate to be able to spend in our store somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Maybe.
And then you get to keep the game. You get $10 back off of your original purchase that you made that you can put towards another game. But that way, when February, hopefully, they're shooting for February to have the biggest fixes done for PlayStation and Xbox and all that. So if it works then you can go back to playing the game the way you intended to in the first place. But now, as it sits, you just got refunded. Now you're going to pay $60 again if you want to go play the finished game, if it's done by then.
This reminds me of, and Tabaka's topic about how you can't build up hype again for it. This reminds me exactly of Fallout 76. Came out hot steaming pile of garbage, which this is nowhere near that kind of bad. But it came out terrible.
PC.
Yeah, and it's a solid game now. I will not lie. Fallout 76 is in a much better place now, but unfortunately, because of the way it started, it's just not there. But I mean, CD Projekt Red has done this before with The Witcher. Like, it came out pretty damn rough, and then it turned into one of the greatest fucking games ever made. So I feel like because they're CD Projekt Red, they have a chance to make this game one of the greats if they do it right.
Yes.
It's just going to take time and patience and a little bit of forgiveness from the consumers, which, I mean, I'm right there with you. I've enjoyed the shit out of this game. I feel terrible for the people who unfortunately had to buy it on the last gen consoles, because it looks awful, and it is 100% a waste of money if you get it on them.
Yeah.
But if you have an opportunity to play it on PC, a decent PC, it's incredible. I mean, I've ran into a few of bugs myself. My favorite one is I was doing a cutscene in a restaurant, and a dude popped up, just magic appeared right next to my table, turned, glided out of the door, like glided to the door, and then just started casually walking out of the restaurant. And I was like, that was that's interesting.
Yeah.
The gliding, when it gliding happens, I die every time. 'Cause it's just
I don't. Have you? Okay, I asked Chicken, and he hasn't noticed this, but have you noticed where sometimes you're running around? You know, you can hear your footfalls essentially when you're running, and it's like run, 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 and then it'll be silent for a couple of seconds, and then you'll hear it again, but you didn't stop running. Have you run into that?
I haven't had that
Okay.
one. The only one that I've had randomly happen is, so you know that one of the options you have is, because of your eyesight, you can zoom in while you're just like sitting there. You can actually just zoom in and look at things. For some reason, mine, if I'm getting off of a motorcycle, it's automatically zoomed in on the first one, and I can't get it to come back. So I have to, what I have to do is I have to hit the start button to pull up the menu to go back, and then usually sometimes it'll do is you'll just see it unzoom real quick, and then I can run and walk. But I can't get it to undo it. I'm like, oh my god, I can't run right now. What is happening? And it took me forever to figure out what was happening.
Well, with the run
Can
thing,
you go into third person in the game?
no, you
Or
can when you're
is it
driving,
only...
but you can't when you're
Yeah,
just
only
playing.
driving.
It's a first-person
But
game.
this is a full first person
Yes.
game, which is part of why the city feels so big, is because you are in first person.
Yeah.
If you could go into third person, it'd just be a GTA style game in Night
Yeah.
City, which I think would really take away from it.
And the driving to me is a million times better in third person than it is first person
Yeah.
in that game. Like it's bad enough in
This-
third.
This is my steering wheel. Whenever I get on a
It's the
vehicle, I
controller, for
pull
those
out
of
my
you
like I
listening
pick
to the
up my controller next to me, and then when I get out, I go back to mouse and keyboard. Like I can't drive with mouse and keyboard. It's so funky.
I just
I
play
mean,
both
I
with
was-
the controller.
I will tell you right now with the controller, I don't know why this is a setting. I think it's stupid. I happened to watch a video, guy was talking about it, and I went in and reset mine too. If you go into the settings under controllers, there is a setting to turn on advanced settings. Click it on, and inside the advanced setting, it has a whole drop down menu. There's one for bonus. It's like a bonus controller or something that's on there. Set them to 0 because they're set at like 2, and it's why some of the stuff doesn't handle the way it normally should. Once I did that, the driving became so much easier. The gunplay came so much easier. Like it was just like I was like, oh, okay, I'm good. But I don't know why it's a setting that's like, why do I need advanced controller settings? That's
Reason?
insane. Like I don't. It's so weird. Like on this game especially. I mean,
I have no idea. Like driving with the mouse and keyboard, I could barely fucking do the motorcycle without doing much. Like at one point, I accidentally parked it in a bunch of people, and I was trying to get out, and I bumped someone, and I fucking got shot up by every person in like 100-yard radius for some fucking reason. They were like, "Oh my god, you bumped him! Everybody on him now!" And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I
that's something
restarted.
that I've noticed while watching people play the game is like
If you
the
touch
cops
anybody,
and things like that will aggro so hard and,
Yeah,
and
the
chase
cops
you,
specifically will be super upset about
well,
things.
it is Night City, and it's a bunch of corruption. So I guess if you look at someone wrong, they think you're a bad guy. They're like,
well,
"Oh
the
my
cops
god!"
are corrupted too. I mean, like
Yeah.
it's like the whole game is nothing but corruption. It's
yeah,
great.
no shit.
Definitely a good
It's
social
so
commentary.
and maybe that's why it's full of bugs.
Well, I asked about the
Corrupted.
run thing because that chicken mentioned the glide. It's because that's what happens. That silence is because, like, if you look down, you can see your legs, and your legs are in the run position, but they're not moving, so you really are just gliding for a little while. I'm like, oh. I mean, it's not a game. It doesn't stop you from running. It doesn't change your pace at all. It's just like, okay, it's quiet. And I'm running again. But
Your character gets tired, so they just glide.
I guess so. I don't know.
I
And
wish I
last
could do that
night,
in real life.
this is one of the only
I know,
bugs
right?
I've had vehicle related because I'm never in them. But there was a mission where somebody else was driving, and they drive you to a place and you hop out and there's a bunch of dudes, and I died to the bunch of dudes once we had hopped out of the car, because I threw a grenade on accident and it landed at my own feet. But we won't talk about that. But it reloaded and it put me back in the car, but it spawned me in the driver's seat as well as the NPC, so I could see her hair and her hands on the steering wheel, and I'm like, uh-oh. How's this gonna go when we get to where we need to go? I'm sitting inside this lady. Oh no. No.
Which side did you get out on?
Well, when we got to the place where we were supposed to get out, he scooted over to the passenger seat, like the normal scoot over animation, and then just got out like nothing was wrong. I'm like, okay, cool.
You're like a 5-year-old. You get to steer.
Yeah, like, sit in my lap. Let's do this. And there was that same mission, though. I got separated in a later part of the mission. You guys are supposed to be on motorcycles, and you're having a conversation, but she hit a rock, and I kept driving because I didn't see her do it, but I saw her marker on the map, like, basically stay in one place, and so I'm having a conversation, but I can't hear her side of it because she's too far away. He's like, yeah, I know, but we can... No, but I'm saying... And I'm like, what is she saying to me? I wish I knew what was going on. So
the subtitles didn't pop up?
I don't have subtitles on. Subtitles distract me because I end up reading them instead of watching what's happening. So if I can turn off subtitles, I will. And I did. So I didn't get to see what it said she was saying.
I have to have them on. Like, a lot of times I won't know what's going on if I don't have them on there, because I'll be like, did they just cuss? Did they just say damn? And it's like, oh, Sam, it's that dude that lives down. I got you. We good. I got you down. That makes sense.
Issues with it.
Being hearing impaired, it's definitely critical to have subtitles on, because it's like, did somebody say something? Or if I see something kind of... I also love that they do it over the head, too, so that you can kind of see random conversations happening.
Well, and they finally added it. I think it was a second patch. They added it to the televisions, because when you first started,
yes,
the TVs didn't have any, and they finally added it to where you could read that was on the bottom. I was like, oh, thank God that was added.
Yes.
So it's just, they've done some good things with their patches.
Yes.
Yeah.
I kind of hope they don't fix the one with my dude standing up there like this, though. I did have a sniper that did it too, though. I was being all stealthy and shit, and I like came in and killed a guy, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna go up here to this top part and get to this sniper dude that's up there. He's literally standing up at the top like this with his gun laying on the ground.
You actually come up behind you and hold him so that he can feel like he's flying.
That's all. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what's happening. I'm flying, Jack.
I'm flying. Come grab me, V. Come grab me. Let me fly.
Oh my God.
God damn.
I hate that it is having such a hard struggle bus time on consoles, because I am loving this game so much, and I wish that everybody could have a similar experience. Like, I'm so sorry if you guys got it on console and it's not going well for you. Please give it another chance once it's patched up, because I promise if you are into RPGs, you will enjoy it once they fix it. And I hate that you have to wait for that. I hate that that has to be tacked on there, but it does, because this is the world we're in, and the board of directors said this is how it has to be. So just
the investors
yes.
pressured the board of directors to make a poor choice. You gotta follow where
follow
the
money.
thought process.
Follow the money.
Yeah,
follow the money, because it has far too much control in some games. Some companies, push it a little harder, some don't.
Well, let's hope they learn their lesson of not pushing the developers to get something out just to make money, because now they're going to be losing money.
Yep. Sometimes you just gotta let it just cook. You gotta let it go for a
with
little while.
Refunds going out, warnings of poor performance on Xbox, like you've got all different types of stuff that it's going to cost them. But I think what's going to end up happening in March, April, something like that, if they're able to get this done by February, which is what they're predicting. And being able to put it where it needs to, I think the sales go back up because I think some people waited. I think a lot of people waited on the older consoles, which I'm hoping that they're able to get them to work on that the way they're supposed to, but I guess we'll see.
And I'm telling you now, folks, when the game is patched, and it's a lot like when they are very confident in how it runs on the older consoles, grab it when it goes on sale, because when they when they kind of release it again, they will put it on sale, because they want to make sure that, if you bought it once, got it refunded, and you want to buy it again, they're not going to be like, oh, you got $60 again. It's like, no, we're going to put it on sale so that everybody can go ahead and pick it up again. And then, once the first wave picks it up in that sale, then the sales again will explode, because if it's good, people are going to be like, it is incredible, buy it now. So it's kind of like to lure everybody back in with a good sale, and then after the sale is over, you're going to hopefully see a much better reputation for this game, where people will be like, oh, okay, all right, I feel confident about buying it now, because it's not going to run like a pile of crap.
If you are playing this for the first time, the one hint that I'm gonna tell everybody is don't buy vehicles.
Yeah, don't do that.
You end up getting free vehicles in the game for doing certain things. You don't have to buy vehicles. I actually, and our friend No Pants actually found this particular car doing another mission for his own, and I happened on the same car the next day, and it's literally hidden in a cave somewhere. Random ass car that's fast as hell. It's probably the fastest car in the game. I don't know. It's like 200 something miles an hour and it's got really good handling, which is important in this game. So you'll find cars that you'll be able to that go into your inventory. It's not like, is it GTA? You used to have to take it to like a garage or something like that.
You take it to your garage,
right?
I think.
Yeah.
So it's not like that, but it is where.
Can you register cars if you find them randomly? Or do you just have to keep track of them? Okay, good. Because I stole a motorcycle, and I've had to manually keep track of where I park it so that I could go back to it and get it and go wherever I'm going. Like, it's like, I cannot lose this thing.
Yeah, I've got two motorcycles, both of which I've gotten through regular in-game play. And then I have, because I don't want to give away too much stuff, I've got a car, again, through regular in-game play. And then through missions, I've gotten a couple vehicles, and then I found that random one that was there, and then I bought one, and the only one I bought, I had 100,000 on my person at the time, and I was doing another mission, and I drove through, and I bought the General Lee. It's basically got the Puerto Rican flag on top of it instead of the Confederate flag, but I bought the General Lee because I'm old school. I grew up with Dukes of Hazzard. And I always wanted that when I was a kid, and it's amazing. It's orange with the 01 on the side. It's the one orange thing I'll probably ever own in my entire life, and it's in this game. You're welcome.
We could probably sit here and talk Cyberpunk for the rest of the day, but we are at an hour, so we should probably get to our games that we've played this year.
Yeah, end of the year, so
Couple quickie things on that one. Halo, if you're playing Halo on 360...
congratulations, your 360 is still alive.
Yeah, right?
That's a big deal on its own.
A year from now, the servers are going down for the Halo that you can play on 360. Even the emulated version that's on the Xbox One. So if you're playing on Xbox One, it doesn't matter. It's got to be the Master Chief Collection in order to be able to play it. So...
Yeah.
It breaks my heart. That's where I met Griff.
I know.
13 years ago, and we will no longer be allowed to play on Xbox Halo 3. Like, to
be fair, we haven't played on Xbox 360.
That means I can't bust out the Xbox 360 and show the Nugget where we met and play games online with him in there.
No, but you can play the Master Chief Collection.
It's not the same. Don't start with me.
You better load it up and take screenshots of your maps and stuff, because one of those maps that you made is where you proposed to me, so... I want to save that one for posterity.
Rip.
That's sad.
Definitely.
But as the other quickie thing is a CD Projekt Red related. They own GOG, and there was supposed to be a re-release of a game called Devotion, which is apparently a really good horror game. That they had pulled because a placeholder asset had something that was apparently unflattering to the leader of China, and once they pulled it, they were like, we're going to replace this, and GOG's like, yeah, we'll put it back up once you fix it, and then the Chinese market was like, we hate you, don't do it, and so CD Projekt Red said, okay, well, we won't, and so it's not going back up. That's the long and short of it.
to be
That's
fair,
the
this is-
griffized version.
Irony of a company that's making a game completely about
Yeah.
against the government and corporations and everything else. But,
It's
yeah.
such a
Yeah,
stupid
to be
thing.
fair, this isn't the first company. This isn't going to be the last that have bent their knee to a certain
Chinese market.
country.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do it all the fucking time, and one of these days, maybe not in my lifetime, somebody will fucking learn to stand up instead of bending down.
I mean, I'm sorry
But
that it
we'll
hurt
see.
Winnie the Pooh's feelings, but
Oh, you best watch out now.
whatever. We're probably not big in China
Well,
anyway.
Well, but I think part of the reason they look at it, the reason they're bending their knee is when the gamer population in that country is literally larger than the population of our country. That's what they're looking at.
It just sucks that their leader is so fragile that stuff like that
Yeah,
hurts his
that's
feelings
the
to the point of
problem,
censorship.
Yeah,
that's
that's the
the
problem.
problem.
Is that he's
Not that we know
his-
about fragile leaders or anything.
Ugh.
Yeah. So, first of all, get a little bit of thicker skin if you're going to be in the public eye like that. I'm sorry if someone looks at you the wrong way and you have to go cry behind closed doors.
It's not even behind
I'm sorry if
closed
someone
doors.
makes a joke about you and you have to go cry about it.
Also, I don't understand. If somebody compared you to Winnie the Pooh, that's not like the worst thing that you could say, people could say you look like. That's not even that harsh. What's wrong with you? Winnie the Pooh is cute.
Because they demand respect out of fear, and if you start making fun of them, then that means that you do
Or
not fear
thinking that
them.
they're cute because they look like Winnie the Pooh. People are going to be
Yeah.
like, oh, he's just Winnie the Pooh. He's not going to do anything.
That's like
Well,
the
well,
perfect guys.
Think
That's
about
why the
this.
best evil
Where is
people
his
are
piglet?
cute. I mean,
Yeah.
it's because it loves you
A
into a
good
false
leader,
sense of security.
a good leader needs charisma and to be able to bring people to their side.
That's
not
why
fear.
Griftopia is
That's
so
just my
grand.
opinion.
Everybody loves me. Mostly because they don't have a choice. But if they said I look like Winnie the Pooh, I'm not
that-
going to hold it against them.
Yeah.
I'm going to question them on whether they need glasses, but I'm not going to hold it against them. Well, okay, so we want to talk some games that we've played this year.
I have played like nothing this year.
I know.
My list is super short, and I'll go ahead and burn it real quick. Earlier in the year, my first game, the last game that I played on stream was Bloodborne. I loved the shit out of it. It was incredible. I'm very sad it took me so long to play it, but I loved the hell out of it. It was a lot of fun.
You're welcome.
Very good. Yes. Very, very good world building in that game, and a great Dark Souls style game. I loved it. It was incredible. I'll probably play the second one when it comes out. Other than that, Phasmophobia.
Yeah.
I've talked about it enough. It's an early access game, but holy shit, it really did bring a lot of new shit to the table, and
if
it
that
is a
was
ton
like
of
if we
fun.
were doing a what's your game of the year, that one would be my game of the year, because that one, like I said earlier, it's hard at this point for me to get a wow out of a game, but that game, even though I cannot play it as deeply as like Chicken and Biker because they're not afraid, that game has gotten several wows out of me, and it's one dude, like that's even more impressive. So
Yeah, like that one's incredible.
Phasmophobia.
Shit, Risk of Rain 2, it fully released in August. That game, the developers of that game, incredible. It's almost perfect as to what a sequel should be. Like the evolution of that game from the first one to the second one, incredible. They've released their roadmap too. They plan on super supporting it through 2021. Really excited for it. And of course, the game that I fucking played the most through the entire year, almost every day, WoW Classic. It has completely absorbed my life, and it is pretty much my
Just
main
like it did the
game that I
first
play
time it
all the
came out.
time. Yeah, so I mean, and I played Mario 64. I know, right? I'm about 20 years too late. 24 years too late for that one.
The upside is
well, I
though
played
you were
it back then.
entertaining Nugget with it, and he gets to learn old school gaming as he grows up because
Exactly.
of that.
Start him old and have him work forward from
There you
that. Way
Oh
before
yeah,
his
when I come to visit, he's gonna experience some old school games.
Oh yes, we're gonna build that muscle memory young, so that he turns out to be way better than me by the time he hits like his teenage years. Assuming he even
We'll
likes
get him started early on the shooters with Duck Hunt.
There you go.
it. Ooh, perfect. Get some of that hand-eye
You're
coordination.
gonna have to find a TV that'll work.
Black is go.
I
I've
have
got a
one.
TV that'll work on. I got a
Okay.
huge one.
I've got a nice size one as well. But
Yeah,
I mean,
well, you don't have to
I'm
bring
not gonna
yours, I'll
lug
just-
the thing all the way there. So
Yeah, I've got one that we can use it on, so no worries about that. But yeah, that's pretty much my list. This year has been, I'm sure everybody else has known. It's been a year or something, and I haven't played much. But Ghost of Tsushima that I've played through so far, fucking incredible. Robbed for awards, and that's where I'll leave that one until I get to finish it.
I did a lot of non-committal stuff, like stuff that I could jump into and jump out of this year just because of how everything's gone. Like, I started my year off with Two Point Hospital. I played a lot in, like, January, February, March, which is kind of sad because I played it, like, really hardcore up until the point where that was our life. There's just pandemics everywhere, and I was like, I can't handle playing in the hospital right now. And then I played a lot of House Flipper, which was, you know, jump in, jump out kind of thing. Animal Crossing. I did so much Animal Crossing this year. Oh my god. And it feels like it's been 30 years ago now. Like, because I played like, my hardcore playing of it was like 6 months or so ago. And it's just, that 6 months feels like it was 3 years. And a lot of WoW Classic. I even played like old school comfort games. I played a lot of Civ Rev this year on my Xbox because it was in a place where I could play it while I was in bed and while I was pregnant. So I played a lot of jump in, jump out stuff, but not a lot of deep stuff. And then Phasmophobia, which freaking A. So impressive. So impressive for one dude. Plus I think I needed a game that I could have like my close group jump in and jump out of, you know, where we got to spend some one-on-one time instead of, because we've done so much with WoW Classic and that's like 40 people at one time, and it's nice to also have that opposite side where you've got 4 people at one time and you can watch Red stand in front of a ghost because he's like a deer in the headlights or something.
Yeah, he did that a lot.
Yeah. That's his MO. It's like just standing in the way.
Oh no, ghost is chasing me. I best stand in front of it so that it can't see me.
I best stop
It's
and
not
try
a
to
T-Rex.
take a picture instead of running to hide. Maybe if I stand right here in its way, it'll never see me. Like they're not like
Ever.
dinosaurs where their vision is based on movement. You're standing right there with your flashlight on and can see you. I love him. But that's what I did this year. Phasma would take it if we were doing a game of the year. 100%.
For me, I ended up, I enjoyed a lot of Animal Crossing back in March, and a little bit of April as well. I actually want to get back to it because I've not touched it. I don't think it's
I
since
missed
the beginning
like
of
all
May.
of the Halloween stuff I missed. I haven't done anything with the winter stuff that they've put out. So
I did enjoy it a lot though, because it was just a really chill game, something I could go in, fish if I wanted to, hunted a bunch of spiders. I just thought it was brilliant on the way it was done. It was the first Animal Crossing game I've ever played.
same.
And I was like, where's this been my whole life? Why am I, waiting so long to play this? I got to finally play God of War, which was absolutely amazing. I hate that it took me 2 years to play the damn game. 2 years in a pandemic in order to be able to play the game. The Spider-Man Miles Morales that I played this year was absolutely phenomenal as well. Doom Eternal, though, hands down my favorite. Phasmophobia is fantastic, don't get me wrong, but I played it twice versus Doom Eternal, where I had a few days into, and it was just I'm a big Doom fan from the 90s when it first came out. I'm being very hipster about it right now. But
You don't have the flowing hair.
I know, all right. I can make that happen. I'm sure there's a filter somewhere. But I think that what they did is, and I'm glad that a lot of games are doing this. Miles Morales did this as well. I think part of the problem we ran into, and this has been a problem that I've had with Assassin's Creed for a long time, which is it's almost like they want us to start from scratch every time they play the game and they come up with a sequel. And I think what they've done really well with both of these games is they know that you know all the stuff from the first game, and they're building upon your knowledge to add more things into it to help you build the next game. And that's what Doom Eternal did really well. Instead of making almost a blank slate on your controls or changing major amount of the controls or whatever. And Miles Morales did the same thing too. But the good thing about Miles is a brand new Spider-Man. So he's having to learn certain things that Peter learned in the first game. So I think that's, but he also knows things that Peter's taught him as well. So I think that they did a really good job of that. And Doom, like I said, just did a really good job on, especially gameplay. They're when it comes to their guns, they just have a certain feel about them that's absolutely amazing and feels so good. So I absolutely loved it. I think that, like I said, Doom was probably my favorite of the entire year. And I actually want to get back to it because they've got a new DLC that I haven't played yet. But that's all I got.
What about you, Baka?
I got hung up in Animal Crossing for a
We
good
all
while.
did. It was like a black hole. A really cute black hole.
This was the year of the party
I actually
games.
still
Online
log
party
into
games.
mine at least a couple times a week to do things. Like I've actually been doing the winter stuff and trying to make snowmen,
Oh,
so I can get recipes.
That's cool.
The Space Hulk with Chicken and Newbie, and we found out that game's a bitch.
Oh.
Yeah, a huge bitch. It plays
It
really fucking well.
Yeah, it plays well, but it is pretty challenging. Like you have to work as a group to get through a lot of it, and I think my really only the complaint with it is when they get the Gene Stealer Broodlord out. He's really hard to tell the difference between him and normal Gene Stealers. So
Yeah,
because he's not much bigger model wise,
Right.
but I think that they should probably make him just a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Or do
You gotta make
something
him so that he
to make
stands
him.
out.
Yeah, something to because I didn't even know that's what the hell was hitting me, and then 2 hits and I'm dead. I gotta play Bloodstained with the Xbox Pass, which is very Castlevania like, and I enjoyed it a lot. Of course, WoW Classic and Phasmophobia, and then I kind of got addicted to Red Dead Online since
you
it
did.
was
Like you're correct.
$5. But I mean,
Hey,
it's
$5,
kind of
that's-
like it's one of those like where I can go in and like log in, do a couple of bounties, get some money and gold, and then go and move on to do something else.
Yes, I would. You really, as much as you've talked about it, you really make me want to play it, but we've got so much else going on right now. And I know if I was playing it, my sister would also want to play it, and her laptop would literally catch fire if she tried to play
Well,
it. So
I would say let her buy it while it's on sale.
yeah, no, she's
So
gonna pick
that
it
way-
up.
February.
Yeah, when she gets her computer parts in, she can play with us.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, not even a nice bucket's gonna save that
No.
laptop.
But I will say, you have done a good job of trying to sell this game. As much as you talk about it, like, to us, just when we're hanging out and stuff, and the stuff that you're doing, I'm like, I want it so hard, because there's ponies, and there's doing stuff, and we can do stuff
And
together. And
one of the early story missions, you get to pick your pony.
yes, I want all of the
and
ponies.
then you can customize your pony, change the length of the hair, and all that fun stuff. Like Grand Theft Auto, a lot of it is behind like where you have to reach a certain level to get.
Yeah.
That just means you gotta go play the game more.
You've been a good salesperson for this game, let me tell you. Like, it's been really
Yeah.
hard for me to not install it, but it's because I have Cyberpunk and everything else, and I know I don't have time right now. But you have 100%, like, you're talking
when
about
you,
it has
you
sold
guys
me.
are there, maybe I'll have some neat things unlocked, because I'm trying to work on the bounty wagon. So because right now, like with bounties, if there's more than 2 people on a wanted poster, or sorry, more than one. If there's like 2 or an entire gang that is all wanted, I can't.
Shit.
I could do them, but I can't bring all the bodies or the people back alive, and normally in enough time to actually get anything for it.
Oh.
Okay,
because-
you definitely won me a little harder right there. Like being able to taking your friends in there to capture a whole gang and loading them up on a fucking wagon to take them back.
I'm trying to
sounds
reach
pretty
level
fucking
10
fun.
in Bounty Hunter, so I can buy the wagon. So yeah, we can just throw all their asses in there and then bring them back.
I wonder what the friendly fire
Okay.
situation is in this game.
I
not
haven't.
bad.
The other thing I like about it is like Where Grand Theft Auto, people can just buy the card shark things or whatever and get all the money and all these cars and weapons. Yeah, you can buy stuff in like that in the game, but I mean, it doesn't really give you much of an advantage on anything because, I mean, with the guns and stuff I have, I'm taking out people that have much better guns than me, as long as you're a pretty good shot. And I also haven't run into too many issues of out in the open world of people just flat out being dicks. Most people are doing their little mission things of either bounty hunting or hunting animals or whatever else. I've run across a few people that decided to do that, but when they kill you, you have an option to basically press charges on them, and it flags them. So like other players, like in other people who are have their bounty hunter license and everything, can actually take him out for a reward.
Sea of Thieves, please listen to this man. Press charges on pirates and make them become infamous so that other pirates who are looking to PvP know who to target.
Yeah.
And put them on the map or something. Well, in that.
Assuming they take the bounty. Like, if they take the bounty, then it's like, all right, I could see where these people are. And
yeah,
then,
but I mean, the game is also big enough to where, like, I don't run into people, like, a whole lot. I mean, normally when I do, nice. It's usually into towns. And they're in there, like, getting supplies and things like that before they go out and do whatever, so.
Wow.
Cool.
We better get out of here, because it's the last show for this year, so we won't be back we'll be back on the 10th, but you will see us on the 11th. Yeah.
We appreciate everybody hangs out with us each and every week in Infinite Respawn. For Infinite Respawn, thank you so much for the entire 2020. It's been a shit year. We know it's been a shit year, but hopefully you've had a great time with us and gaming in general. We look forward to seeing you in 2021 for sure. You can catch us out on Twitter at InfiniteResPC. You can check me out personally at MDB Oaktree. Check out Griff.
At Griff Slineham.
Check out Chicken.
At Elite Chicken 313.
Check out Baka.
At Baka Pickle.
Yeah.
Also, make sure you go to Griff's YouTube channel where she's currently playing through Skyrim. Go on there. Look, it's Christmas break. We're not going to be on for a little while. Go on, watch all of her stuff. That's what you do.
Yeah, there's not as many
all of
as
her
you would
stuff.
think
She
right
might
now.
be, for 2 weeks. You might be able to get through 3 or 4 episodes of Red Dead.
Okay, episode 16 is going up today, and it's partially because things didn't mix down the way they were supposed to, or I would have had another couple.
I was talking about
but
Red Dead. People are probably still stuck in the early parts of Red Dead because they're so long.
I can't help that game is 75 million hours long. All right.
Hey, those are well spent 75
yes,
million
they are.
hours.
That game is worth every penny.
I'm sorry, Mr. Man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Never forget
Also,
it.
make sure you go to twitch.tv/Elite Chicken 313. Chicken, when do we get some more Ghost?
Tomorrow.
Ooh, so today, for all of you that are listening.
Yeah, if you're listening to it right now, you get to watch me on Monday. So far, Monday is like solid. I get to play some Ghost of Tsushima on Monday every day.
Maybe we'll get some extra over the Christmas break. You'll see.
Yes, that would be ideal if I could get some more time in, but it's hard because the Nugget is so
Demanding.
him still being 4 months old. He's very temperamental, and it's hard to gauge where he's going to be each day.
Yeah, it doesn't get better with age. I can tell you that now.
Oh boy, can't wait.
Well, he's also at the point where he doesn't
But-
nap for hours at a time during the day. He naps for 30 minutes and then he wants to play, and so it's harder to set aside time to do things in nap time. So
I was blessed. My children would sleep for about 2 hours at a time.
no, he sleeps for 30 minutes. and then
Not
he's
this
ready to
one.
play.
This one sleeps at night, and then he'll just take a 15-minute nap and be like, "All right, I'm good to go. Let's go again."
Yeah.
It's like, "Oh, okay, you ready to go?" He's like, "Hell yeah, let's go."
We're
But
lucky
wait
with
till
him
he
sleeping at
can
night,
start
though.
running around.
Oh,
Zooming back and forth behind Chicken.
he's gonna be so cute.
Hey, that's
Anyway,
fine. I just once he can use the words and tell me that what he wants is going to be so much better.
Also, make sure you go to twitch.tv/MDB Oaktree, where you can check me out just about every day of the week except for Wednesdays. During the Christmas holiday, though, I will not be streaming on Christmas itself, but I will be on Christmas Eve and on Boxing Day, which is the day after. So I'll be doing that. So should be good to go. For Infinite Respawn, I'm Oak Tree.
I'm Griff.
I'm Chicken.
I'm Baka.
See ya.
Please hang up and try again.